Hey, Brian from SnakeBytes here. I've traveled to Maryland to check out one of the coolest boa constrictor collections in the world. It's going to be wall-to-wall boas, and you're watching SnakeBytes. Boa constrictors have always had a soft spot in my heart. It was actually the second snake I ever owned. His name was King. But the truth is, there's an amazing array of color mutation, and Peter Call has been a leading pioneer of those color mutations for about 20 years. He actually produced the very first albino, and he has some amazing animals. So this day, we're just gonna look at some really cool boa constrictors. The majority of the color mutations are from the locality in Colombia, but the truth is, boa constrictors are found through Central and South America, including the surrounding islands. The ease of care and husbandry, along with breeding, is what's made boa constrictors such popular pets. What was the first live-bearing snake Brian ever produced? A. Dumeral's boa, B. Solomon Island boa, or C. Boa constrictor? Go ahead and answer down below in the comments and check back later in the show to see if you were correct. Each week with our friends over at the Reptile Report, we'll be spotlighting a cool animal forum. This week's spotlight is turtles and tortoises. Go ahead and check out the URL down below or click the link in the description. Let's go ahead and start with a mutation that I absolutely love, and that would be the motley boa constrictor. Now this is a pattern mutation and it happens to be codominant, which basically means when you breed two motleys together, you're gonna get a super motley. What gorgeous snakes they are. One of the first mutations that was bred into the motley trait was the albinos, and here's an example of an adult female albino motley. You can certainly see that the albino gene and the motley gene mix really well together, and this is truly a gorgeous snake. Now this happens to be the hypo version bred into motley, and again the hypo version is another codominant mutation, so what you have here is a double codominant. Now let's take a look at what happens when you breed a hypo and an albino bred to a motley. And so this would be the Sunglow motley. So what we have here is a hypo albino motley. So it's two codominants and a recessive. What an absolutely incredible looking snake. It's actually really tame too. All right, here's another example of a Sunglow motley, and this guy's a little bit smaller, so you can really see the impact of the motley gene in it. And this guy's a little bit feisty too, so you gotta be careful, because he will absolutely fire you up. You see what I'm saying? I could probably just show you Sunglow motley boas all day because they're so amazing and they're relatively polymorphic. As you can see, this animal has a much more interesting head pattern. It is just super bright. Take a look at this beauty here. This is actually one step further, which is a Sunglow motley jungle. Now the jungle mutation is another codominant mutation. So you have a lot going on here. You have the motley codominant, you have the hypo codominant, and you have the jungle codominant, and you have a recessive albino. And I tell you what, that makes one incredibly beautiful snake. Now this is one step back from the Sunglow motley jungle, and this is just an albino motley jungle, so it's basically just missing the hypo gene. I tell you what, that hypo gene really makes them pop, doesn't it? But this animal is gorgeous in its own right. I always say that typically a really cool animal has a really cool story behind it. And these IMG boas certainly have one of those cool stories. Back in 2003, Pete was down in Daytona at the National Breeders' Expo and came across a really cool looking boa on a table. Now he bought that animal, and over the next 18 months, it turned jet black. He then proved it out to be a codominant mutation, and as you can see, it's just a sleek black animal with incredible iridescence, and there's some really cool mutations coming from it too. Now check out this animal here. This is an albino IMG, and you can certainly tell it's got a little bit of an attitude, doesn't it? Now as the albino IMGs get older, they kind of wash out a little bit and get more white up in their side, and you can tell the pattern gets a little bit more washed out as well. I gotta be careful. So I get too close, this guy's just gonna take my nose right there. He's a cute little bugger. Now, just like with the Sunglow Motleys, there's actually the Sunglow IMG, which just basically is an albino IMG along with the hypo gene. And I tell you what, I'm seeing so many incredible boa constrictors, but still I keep going back to Sunglow animals and how amazing they are. And this guy's a little feisty bugger too. Now, this animal has a lot of complexity when it comes to genetics. This is an IMG moonglow, which basically means it's a hypo, anuary, albino, and IMG. I know that's a lot to say. It's a lot easier just to call it a moonglow IMG. And it seems like all these boas want a piece of me today. I don't know what it is about these guys. Okay, this is a little bit different take on an IMG. This happens to be a ghost IMG, which is an anuary hypo IMG. Again, boa complexity is pretty cool when it comes to genetics, but as you can see, I think this one is getting a little too close for comfort. He almost got me right in the face. All right, let's move on to the next base morph boa constrictor. This happens to be a jungle boa. Now, jungles are actually a pattern mutation, and as you can see on the tip of the tail here, they're striped and sometimes they have chain link on it, and this is a great example. Now, they are polymorphic, so they come in really extreme versions and not so much, but they're also co-dominant. So let's take a look at some cool jungle boa combos. Oh my gosh, take a look at this snake right here. This happens to be a salmon jungle, which is a hypo jungle, and what an amazing example it is. Look at the cool patterning all the way down, and that reduction of pattern is just really typical of both hypo and jungle. Wow, that's breathtaking. What we have here is an albino jungle, and it's a big animal too. That's one of the things that's so cool about boa constrictors, is that they can get really big, but they're not the monsters like Burmese pythons. But this animal is definitely a handful. Look at how big it is. And again, it's got that really cool jungle pattern all the way down its back. Okay, so what we have here is a Sunglow jungle, and this is a good example of a mean snake to start with. But I tell you what, see how some jungles have more pattern and others have less? Oh, she's gonna get me good. I'm gonna fight her and battle for you guys. But you can see how beautiful it is with the Sunglow. But again, it doesn't have the striping that some of the other jungles have, but it certainly has that representative jungle pattern. And hey, I tell you what, I can't believe I got out of this one without shedding some blood. What we have here is a coral albino jungle. Now, the difference between an albino jungle and a coral albino jungle is really just the amount of pink that's in the animal. You can certainly see all through here, there's tons of pink in the animal. That's really what makes it a coral albino, and it really makes it a very unique looking snake, and a beautiful one at that. I told you guys about the jungle being a co-dominant mutation. Well, this happens to be the super version, but it's also a salmon or a hypo animal. So again, it's a salmon super jungle, and you can certainly see how the pattern is really connected and super faded on the sides. Now, to take it one step further, and I tell you what, this is a real treat. This is a super salmon super jungle. Take a look at that snake right there. Just the reduction of pattern and that brightness of hypo just really makes this animal pop, and it's truly one of my favorites I've seen so far. Gosh, that's a gorgeous animal. Moving on to another animal is an arabesque boa. Now, this is another mutation that acts when you breed it to a normal, half the babies come out arabesque. It was originally produced by Steve Hammond. Gosh, it's got to be 12 or 15 years ago, but there's been some really cool mutations that have been bred into them. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of them. Like so many of these mutations, the first typical one that's been bred into it is an albino, and this happens to be an albino arabesque. And the two genes really mold together really well. They make this really faded pattern, and they're actually got that really pink in the face. They're really pretty amazing animals. I tell you what, guys, every now and then you open up a cage and you just get absolutely blown away. Well, this is certainly one of those animals. This is a Sunglow arabesque. So again, it's a hypo, it's an arabesque, and it's an albino, but holy cow, look at the color on that. It's almost fluorescent, almost like it's under a black light. Now, this happens to be one of my new favorite snakes. Now, this happens to be not only a beautiful colored snake, but look at the pattern on it. This is a Sunglow arabesque jungle. So it just has one more gene, which is the jungle gene in it. But look at the pattern all the way down its back. Again, it has that glow of the Sunglow arabesque with the pattern of the jungle. Now, that's a cool snake. Now this is just a single gene animal, but it happens to be a T-positive Colombian boa constrictor. Now the T stands for tyrosinase, and basically it's a form of albino, but it still has some melanin that's called tyrosinase. And it's just a really beautiful snake. Instead of being that orange and yellow, you still have plenty of chocolates in it. It just makes it look really clean and super, super cool. All right, I'm here with AJ. He's one of Peter Call's workers. I wanted to ask you something, AJ. How does it feel like to work in a place that is one of the coolest boa collections in the world?
It's amazing. You know, I get to work with the coolest people, the most awesome reptiles. It's just something new every day, really.
What is the one experience that when you started working here you weren't expecting you were going to have on a day-to-day basis?
Well, it was feeding at first, you know, because at first I was cleaning and, you know, doing bins and that stuff, and then I got to feed, and that was just something completely.
I know, just the power of those animals is a lot more than anything, right? What's your favorite snake in the whole collection?
It's got to be the ING, no doubt about it.
Really? Just the normal ING, that black snake?
Yeah, the ING.
That's really cool. But I tell you what, how long do you think you're going to be working with Pete?
As long as possible. I love it here.
All right, good job. Thanks, AJ.
No problem.
This animal happens to be a really cool combo of two morphs that haven't been around for a whole long time, and that's the IMG and the T-positive together. This is just one beautiful, beautiful snake. I don't know about you guys, but I've had one incredible time looking at all these amazing boa constrictors. I can't thank Pete Call enough for having us out. Tell you what, this has been one awesome day.
Hey guys, we're deep into summertime now. That means there's still lots of barbecues going on. Now, since I don't eat meat, I like to throw some portobello mushroom caps on the grill, and they're so good. I want to know, what's your favorite food to throw on the grill? Leave a comment below and let us know.
What was the first live-bearing snake Brian ever produced? If you said B, Solomon Island boa, you were 100% correct. Good job. So there it is. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. What an amazing collection of boas. As always, I was tweeting and Facebooking my way through it. So if you want to follow any of my animal adventures, make sure to hit me up over on Facebook and Twitter at SnakeBytesTV. Until next week, you've been watching Snake Bites. Oh, come on, go guy. Oh, that got me. Oh, you got me there too. Oh, come on now. That's not nice. That's not nice.